Mexico to USA is a voluntary and an international migration that started in the 1970s. People choose to migrate illegally to the US to seek jobs and so they can become wealthier. There is very little pay in Mexico, and that's why many people's lives have gone downhill. Some people even regret coming to America because they are put to work in bad conditions. Hundreds of Mexicans travel across the border every day. In the past 3 years, 851 immigrants have died. A series of death marches in Borneo from Sandakan to Ranao, which resulted in a death toll over 1,000. The migrants were prisoners of war held captive by the Japanese Empire during the Pacific Campaign of World War II. Obviously, this was a forced migration led by the Japanese. Not many people had jobs in Mexico. The only people that really had a proper job were wealthy people. However, there are many jobs available for low-paid workers in the US, so they don't need to worry about being unemployed. A lot of people in Mexico are homeless and are suffering. 40% of Mexico is suffering from poverty. That's almost half the population. The pull factor for this is that it's easier to seek work in America. In Mexico, there are low wage laws. What they make in a day at home would make in an hour in America. The pull factor for this is that you would receive more money for doing work in America. Therefore, you can send more money back to Mexico for your family. Life expectancy is only 72 years in Mexico, whereas the life expectancy in the USA is 76. There are very poor medical facilities in Mexico and are also more expensive. There is very good medical facilities in the US. In Mexico, there are only 1,800 people to one doctor, and in the US, there is 400 people to one doctor. Poor education in Mexico. The adult literacy rate was 55%. 4 in 10 high school students drop out. The pull factor for this is that the US offers better education and the adult literacy rate there is 99%. A lot of men would travel across the border to start a new life in the border countries of America. This left many elderlies and children behind and also left women unmarried. Migrant workers took unwanted jobs and worked very hard because they had families back in Mexico to fund. This had a benefit on the US economy. The border states such as California and Texas were enriched with the culture of Mexico, music, food, and language. This created a multicultural society. The Mexican culture has spread all over America, and that is why so many Americans can speak Mexican.
Pues quizá el campo mexicano ha estado muy abandonado por el gobierno, pues no hay buenos resultados siempre. Yo decidí emigrar porque pues, mi familia es numerosa y aquí en la provincia donde estoy no hay dinero, no hay recursos, ni ingresos, ni nada.